It is Tuesday, March 24th, 7 p.m. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you. Council members present and establishing a quorum are Council members Fulcher, Beaumont, Hanford, Walker, Gamble, Fisher, and Blair.
Awesome. Councilmember Hanford, could you lead us in the pledge? First item of business is public comments. This is a limited opportunity for people to speak to the council during the council meeting. Pursuant to the council rules of procedure, oral public comment is limited to in-person comment only and must comply with the standards set forth in the council rules. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Information on where to send written comments is on tonight's agenda and on the screen. Please note that if you wish to speak to the item scheduled for a public hearing this evening, there will be a separate opportunity to speak to that topic. We will now begin public comment. The clerk has indicated that there are written comments. The first person signed up is Michael McConnell.
And I just want to tell you about an experience I had today. I was exercising in the gym, and one of our firefighters said, "Oh, I thought you were a cop," because he saw me at a distance. And I thought, wow, what a compliment. And I would actually just like to take this minute to honor our relationship with Monroe PD, but also Monroe PD staff. And what an amazing partner we have with the law enforcement team. What a great team you have at Monroe PD, and Chief Jolly for his leadership in Monroe. And we just really enjoy that the depth of the partnership, and whether it's natural disasters or on incidents, there's just really no end to the collaboration and strong work. So a huge thank you to Chief Jolly and the team at Monroe PD.
Thank you. Thank you. I see no one else. Actually, yeah, I see no one else. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? I see no one else wishing to speak. The public comments portion of the meeting is now closed. The next item on the agenda is the state of the court with Judge Ness. Good evening.
Just making sure your mic's on. Okay. Yep. Okay, perfect. All right, well, good evening, Council, Mayor Pro Tem, City Administrator, members of the public. My name is Jessica Ness. I have the privilege of serving as your Monroe Municipal Court Judge. And tonight I will be presenting to you the State of the Court report for the year 2025. I did practice through this, so it's about 15 minutes long, just to give you a start and end time here. So first I want to start with Imagine Monroe. And throughout my presentation, I hope you'll see that it really informs the work of the court. The court's role supports the city's goal in creating a safe place for all, but the impact extends much further than just that. The court strengthens community trust through fair and respectful processes, serves as community-centered infrastructure by connecting individuals with services and resources, and promotes stability that allows residents and businesses to thrive. By ensuring access, equity, and impartiality, the court helps to create a community where people not only feel safe, but also feel that they belong. The next slide shows the court's mission and vision statement, which aligns with Imagine Monroe. And our mission at the court, the statement is clarifying our purpose for what we hope to do at the court. And it reads, to resolve matters fairly and timely in accordance with the law by providing an impartial, independent, and dignified forum in order to promote respect for the rule of law engender public confidence and trust, and protect individual rights and liberties. And then just below that is our vision, which keeps us focused on the big picture, our long-term impact in the community. And our vision is that the court advances justice for all who come before it. We are an efficient, innovative, and accessible court system that works collaboratively with justice partners to serve the community with integrity and transparency. One important aspect of the court is that it serves as one of the 3 branches of government. So the court is not a department of the city. Our role is distinct from the other branches of government. We aren't enforcers of the laws, and we don't create the policy as you do. The court's responsibility is to interpret the laws, provide fair and neutral forums for resolving cases, and making it accessible for public transparency, public trust, and confidence in the court system. And my philosophy with government is that we, as all 3 branches, should be working together. We've done that. We've had some really great collaborations over the years, including our community court program, the new court facility, and I'll talk more about each of those as we go through the presentation. So Monroe case filings, oh gosh, it doesn't look like all of them are got on the slide. Okay, thank you. Yeah, they are in your packet as well. There was a report that I filed as well. So I'm gonna point out the different categories. I go through these with you each year. So we have both a civil portion of the court and then our criminal portion. So the civil is the traffic infractions, parking violations, and infractions non-traffic. And so with those types of civil cases, the worst that can happen to you, I tell people, is that you leave having to pay a monetary penalty. And that's as compared to our criminal cases that include criminal non-traffic and criminal traffic cases. And so each of those categories for criminal non-traffic and criminal traffic are comprised of both misdemeanor charges, which are punishable by up to 90 days in jail, up to a $1,000 fine, as well as gross misdemeanor charges. Those types of charges are punishable by up to a year in jail, up to a $5,000 fine. So for the category of criminal non-traffic, that would encompass cases like domestic violence assault, could be theft, criminal trespass in the 1st degree, possession of a controlled substance. And then in the criminal traffic category, that would include cases like driving under the influence, driving on a suspended license, reckless driving. You can't see the full chart there, but if you look in the packet, you can see that the filings have increased slightly over the course of this last year. As we look at these numbers, I am mindful that there are real people behind each one of these numbers. For some people, it could be their very first and only encounter with the court system. And while our work is governed by statutes, court rules, and case law, I recognize that for many, whether they're in court as a defendant, as a crime victim, or a family member, they could be experiencing one of the lowest points of their lives when they appear in front of me. With that understanding, the work of the court depends on thoughtfully balancing defendants' rights with the need to provide public safety. Guided by Imagine Monroe, this commitment to seeing each person shapes how we approach our work. 2 programs in particular that I want to review with you, thank you, Jody, are the Domestic Violence Moral Recognition Therapy Program, as well as our community court. It really illustrates, both of those programs do, how the court turns the philosophy of Imagine Monroe into meaningful action. So our Domestic Violence Moral Recognition Therapy Program was designed to rehabilitate domestic violence offenders. We've had 16 graduates since the program began 3 years ago. The program is a structured course. The workbook is there up on your screen, Bringing Peace to Relationships. It's a 26-week course, and it's designed to provide tools to reduce repeat offenses by improving an offender's moral reasoning and decision-making. It uses cognitive behavioral therapy to move participants from impulse reasoning to considering social rules and the well-being of others. The court has received positive feedback, not only from offenders, but also from their family members. All right. And then I wanted to talk about our community court. And so our community court program started in 2022. It is a collaborative, problem-solving, community-focused approach to address low-level, quality-of-life type offenses. We work to connect individuals with resources and services in the community. Those can include assessment and treatment for both substance use disorder and mental health. We connect people for state benefits, medical insurance, peer outreach, education, food and clothing, relicensing. I'm really amazed at the resources that we have available to folks through our resource center in community court. Therapeutic courts are considered the most successful justice intervention for people with substance use disorders. Our community court is committed to breaking the cycle of crime and addiction, improving lives, and saving taxpayer dollars. It's estimated, and data supports, that 6,000 tax dollars are saved per participant. We've had 21 graduates in the program total, and we've also made connections for folks, 29 separate links or connections to resources for people that aren't in the program. I hand out our community court flyer as often as I can. I've been known to provide those to people that appear on the traffic infractions calendar if they're in need of any resources. At this point in my presentation, I have always enjoyed sharing a story with you about one of our community court graduates' success, and I'm doing something a little bit different. I want to showcase a new program that we started within the community court last year, and it was actually an idea that a council member came up with. It's called the Community Court Cleanup Crew, and so it is run by our program coordinator for community court. He leads a group of our participants and cleans up areas within the city. Some of the pictures here are from our first event where we worked on cleaning up Main Street, but while a lot of the work is as it relates to cleanup, you can see how much garbage and debris has been collected at various times. We're also known to garden and wash some windows and do anything as a give back to the community. The cleanup crew, it is a really great opportunity for our participants to give back. And so we've had participants from, we've had feedback from the participants as well as residents and business owners about seeing our community court folks out picking up this garbage and debris and just the positive impact that it's having in the community. And since the inception of the program, I have applied for and we have received state funding grant awards. To date, the total amount, $875,192. You can see that the largest allocation of that funding is as it relates to personnel. So currently, the grant funding supports 12 of my 26 hours, and it's because I work community court into so many areas of the court process: arraignment, pretrial, post-conviction. I even mentioned it, traffic infraction hearings. So that's the largest allocation. It does also include a portion of our court administrator's time, program coordinator, public defender, and prosecutor time that's spent devoted to community court. I will continue to seek funding from the state. I am hoping to reach over $1 million this year, and I will keep you posted as to that effort, but that's a personal goal that I have set. You can see in the next slide that our therapeutic grant award, it's just below 30% of our budget. So it does support a large portion of our budget. The court is currently on track with the budget that we set previously. And then I do want to point out, it's not on this slide, but the court does generate revenue. So through civil traffic infractions, as well as legal financial obligations for people that can afford to pay those. Court law has noted that courts aren't in the business of generating revenue, and so that's why you won't see it here on the screen. But it is an important part of our budget as well. Moving on to statewide and local issues affecting the judicial branch. And I'll just touch on these. I know that there have already been some discussions in the city as it relates to the new standards for indigent defense. These are primarily aimed at lowering caseloads for public defenders. There's a 10-year target that cities are required to make changes that are incremental yearly. And so we're working with the Office of Public Defense and the city on meeting those goals. We're also working towards vacating all simple drug possession convictions that were found unconstitutional under State versus Blake. The last couple of years, we've created a list of individuals that were affected by that Supreme Court decision. And this year, we'll be working on vacating those convictions and then refunding any legal financial obligations that were paid as a result of one of those convictions. Those monies are allocated by the legislature to the state, so there's a Blake Refund Bureau that will be responsible for refunding any legal financial obligations, not the city. We will finally also be getting the new case management system that I have been talking with you about since 2020. The system that we use currently, it's aged, while recognizing that many of us are in our 40s or older. It's a 45-year-old system, but it's an older system as far as computers go, right? And so we do have a target date set for May of 2027 to implement that new program, and we are very excited about that. Finally, there was an assessment that the city completed for the court. It did identify some understaffing in the court, and so that's an issue that we'll want to address at some point in the future. We want to be able to continue to provide core court services and support programs that we currently have, and then other program ideas as well. Then in the Judge's Corner, I'm very active on a number of committees and boards and have an opportunity to attend multiple conferences a year. All of those are funded by either the state or through our community court grant. So again, not a budget expense here. But those are fantastic events to go to for educational purposes. And then finally, I just want to end with the big thank you. We moved into our new courthouse facility in October of 2025. We're still working on making it a welcoming place. We started hanging some photos and artwork this past week, but it has just made all of the difference for the court staff, for the court users, for our community. I'm just so grateful for your support in seeing this project through. And so on behalf of myself and the court staff, I thank you very much. Yeah. And that's all that I have for you this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Judge Ness. Council members, do you have any questions? Councilmember Beaumont.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just wanted to say thank you for the presentation and thank you for the good work that you do in our community. It's so impressive. This was a really well done presentation. I enjoyed reading through it and just appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fisher.
Yeah, basically the same thing. Thanks. I think this program is awesome. Been into the court a couple of times. to watch you proceed over everything that's going on. Would encourage anybody to do that. It's super professional, it's compassionate, it's also tough. And then also, huge surprise, picked up trash on Main Street with some of the folks that were doing it on one day. And yeah, it was a really, really cool experience. So I would say if you want to do that, jump on in. And then I know we've talked a little bit about it. Youth programs in the court would be huge. I know that's a little bit of a passion of yours, and would love to see at some point in time if we get the financial backing, all of those things, to start to develop some of those programs as well. So thank you for all your time and service with the city. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Hanford?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, thank you, Judge. Appreciate you and your staff and all the great work that you continue to do for all these years.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fulcher?
Thank you. I'm just going to say the same thing as everyone else. Thank you for your presentations. It's always enlightening. Regarding the potential understaffing of the court, was there anything more you can tell us about that? In what way should we look forward to making sure that you have what you need?
Yeah, so this was in Liam's report that he presented, and he did interview us. He used comparable courts in the area, and I believe that the recommendation was for 1.5 more staff persons. It's just in relation to other comparable sized courts with similar workloads. There are more staff members to take on the load. At Monroe Municipal Court, we have court administrator, a court clerk, a 10-hour-a-week judicial assistant, and our probation counselor. So most courts have far more staff. You know, one thing that we've been able to do really well at Monroe is to do a lot of cross-training so that, you know, our court administrator can step in for the court clerk. Our probation counselor has even stepped in to do some clerking, but that wouldn't be typical in most courts. Yeah.
Okay, that helps. Thank you very much.
Unless there's anyone else that has something that they wanted to say. Judge Ness, thank you very much for the presentation. Again, I always think about a meeting that a few of us council members went to where some regional judges were speaking about interesting court models in the area or things that they've seen succeed, and they brought up Judge Jessica Ness's court in the city of Monroe, and I thought that was just really cool because they didn't know that we were there, but it speaks to the acclaim that your guys' court has received at the local, state, and even federal level. So thank you, Judge, and Ms. Haley, I know you're in the audience as well. Thank you for the work that you do and all of your staff. We are so appreciative of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next item is 6.1, public hearing on the interim housing ordinance with Ms. Morera. Before we proceed with the hearing, please note that the rules and procedures that apply to this hearing are available in the agenda packet and on the city's website. To summarize, after the hearing is open, the city staff will present a staff report, and council members may ask questions for clarification of staff or wait until another time.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Oh,
Sorry.
it's not my turn.
A lot to read.
Okay.
For the record, I am informing all parties interested in these recordings that the city clerk has forwarded to the city council all timely written or otherwise recordable comments that have been submitted regarding the subject matter of this public hearing. The public hearing is now open. Ms. Monroe, please provide the staff report for this public hearing. Is that right?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I do have a presentation for you tonight. Thank you. Oops. Good evening. I'm here to present the public hearing for the interim housing ordinance. Just wanted to emphasize that the public hearing tonight is a procedural only, so it's a statutory requirement, so just want to focus on that. The purpose is to give the public a chance to comment on this interim housing ordinance, since there wasn't initially given that chance when I brought this interim housing ordinance to council previously. A public hearing is required within 60 days of the adoption of the interim ordinance, and the deadline to schedule the public hearing is April 25th of 2026. And having the public hearing tonight, we're meeting that requirement. The City Council adopted interim ordinance number 001/2026 on February 24th of 2026. The interim ordinance allows step housing and co-living housing in certain zones as required by House Bill 1220 and House Bill 1998. The interim housing ordinance will expire on September 4th of 2026. As stated before, this public hearing is procedural in nature. There is no recommended action tonight, but the council may, if but not required, to adopt additional legislative findings in support of ordinance number 001/2026 at the conclusion of this public hearing. And I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Do any council members have any clarifying questions of staff? At this time, I will ask if there are any members of the public who wish to speak to this matter. Unless the council wishes to impose a different limitation, there will be a 3-minute time limit on each speaker. Your time will begin after you introduce yourself and provide your area of residence or association with the City of Monroe. Please be respectful of all speakers and the hearing procedure itself. Please also note the hearing is an opportunity for you to address the City Council. It's not intended to be a question and answer session. I see no one else wishing to speak. Do any council members have any additional questions to ask of staff? This is the conclusion of the public hearing. Are there any objections to the closing of the hearing? Hearing no objections, the hearing is now closed. And there is no requested action on this item. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item of business is the consent agenda. I turn to the council. Councilmember Beaumont.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I move to approve the consent agenda as provided in the packet.
Motion has been made by Councilmember Beaumont and seconded by Councilmember Fisher to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion passes by a vote of 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item 8.1, 2060. My apologies. The next item on the agenda is item 8.1, 2026 to 2030 Strategic Priorities and Strategic Plan with Deborah Knight.
Thank you. Good evening, Council and Mayor Pro Tem. I'm going to take a sip of water before I get started. For some reason I was doing great till this moment. Excuse me. So the issue this evening is to highlight the revisions that were made to the strategic priorities and strategic plan that Council discussed at its February 3rd special meeting. So I will just go through the list. The materials are in your agenda packet, but I will briefly review them for the record. So at the February 3rd meeting, the City Council reviewed the draft 2026-2030 strategic priorities and strategic plan and provided some policy level feedback intended to clarify the direction and kind of refine the implementation. So there were 2 substantive changes that were made under Strengthen Connections. So under Strengthen Connections, the 2 changes were under support and expand events, the word activities was added. So it reads activities and gathering spaces. And the phrase for community engagement was changed to that bring residents together, because that was the discussion that the council had, is that the intent of this is to support everything that kind of brings members of the community, Monroe community, everybody being able to come together. The second change was adding a new bullet point that says plan infrastructure improvements to achieve multiple community benefits. And the idea behind this statement is to encourage staff and council when we are evaluating opportunities during the development of the capital facilities plan to look for those projects that have multiple benefits. So if there's a single project or if there is a way to combine projects together. So if we're doing, as we do now, a water sewer replacement, we also do a street improvement. Is there an opportunity, excuse me, then to add a bike path or a sidewalk in addition to those at the same time? So just trying to be more efficient and get more bang for the buck. So that's the purpose behind that proposed change. There were no other changes that were agreed upon at the meeting to the strategic priorities. Under the strategic plan update, there were a number of changes suggested. Under access to parks and healthy waterways, there was a direction to mayor and staff to move activating the Cadman property from 2027 to 2030. And the discussion there was that there are higher priorities and that the fact that we're still negotiating to secure that property just pushes it out further into the planning period. Under supporting local businesses and projects in 2027 and 2028, we added continue to promote Imagine Monroe and the city brand to businesses and residents. In 27, we added review and update the 2022 lodging needs assessment. So that would be done in-house, using in-house staff. Under build community and regional connections in 2028, we added evaluate youth and student involvement in city government and and civic life. No changes were proposed under be friendly and responsive. And then under strengthen connections, we added some examples. So in 2026 through 2030, we added as examples bike and pedestrian safety projects. So implement bike and pedestrian safety projects. For example, the RRFBs, traffic safety cameras, etc., were added. And then under ensure a safe place for all, we established a multi-year framework for communicating available human services and community resources to residents. So just kind of an ongoing effort there. And it was to expand human resources, not just to focus on a small population, but to focus on city residents as a whole. And so with that, those were the changes that were discussed and incorporated into the draft plan. The draft plan will now be used as the guidelines in developing the 27 and 28 budgets. And then once the 27-28 budget is adopted, then we'll come back in January of 2027 and adopt the plan for the next 2 years. So thank you very much for all of the input that you provided at the February 3rd meeting. I think we've got clear direction now from council, and we'll begin the process of developing the 27-28 budget.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Administrator Knight. Council, do we have any questions? Councilmember Fisher?
No question, just really excited to see the human services branch out more to include more of all of the residents of Monroe instead of just kind of having a narrower focus. So I think that's super neat thing that we're doing.
Thank you. Councilmember Boulay?
Deborah, thank you for all the work that you did in capturing all of our ideas. That's one of your superpowers, I think. You can hear everybody's input and succinctly put it into a plan. So thank you for your work on that.
Thank you. Councilmember Beaumont?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm just really excited that we've added in evaluate youth student involvement in city government and civic life. That's really important to me, and I've already got some feelers out to develop sort of more of a link between us and youth in the community, and it's just great to have that in the plan and as something we're working toward. So thank you very much, and thank you for all your work, Deborah.
I was just going to say the same thing. I'm so grateful for how well you put everything together that we talked about. So there is no action requested. In that case, we will move on to the next item, which is council member reports. Thank you, Administrator Knight. We'll start and just go all the way down. Councilmember Fisher?
I don't have anything.
All
I
right.
mean, not that I can think of. Probably will when I turn my mic off.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Blair?
I do not have anything to report this week either.
Thank you. Councilmember Hanford?
I just wanted to say with the death that happened in our community, I'm just very grateful, as the fire chief spoke earlier, about our police department, and I'm just very grateful for our community, our leadership in this community, and yeah, I mean it's a horrible thing, and but just because we're an amazing community doesn't make us immune from horrible things. So, but when they do come, I'm glad that we're with each other through this. So, thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Beaumont?
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Hanford. I concur. It's great to know that when things happen, we've got a wonderful team out there keeping everyone safe and also solving the crime. So thank you, our Monroe PD. I failed to thank the Parks Department last week for their work on restoring the Centennial Garden sign that's on Main Street. This is a Monroe Historical Society sign that was installed in 2002. It's kind of across the street from Candido's. And they sanded it, they painted the lettering, restained the wood. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And that's very important to our nonprofit historical society. And it looks great. And I meant to thank you last week and did not. So please thank your team, Director Teague. And also just wanted to share that last week with Director Elsom and Mr. Otto, we went up to the French Slough Flood Control District meeting and drove out there, and it was a really good face-to-face meeting. It had been a while since we had sat down, and I think Director Elsom had not met that team yet, and it was great. We heard a lot of information that they had to share with us, but again, just the value of a face-to-face meeting where you get to meet people and actually share a few words other than what you're talking about. It's just great to connect as people, and I think that was really valuable. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Fulcher?
Thank you. Since we last met, I actually will report for Councilmember Hanford and Blair that we were part of judging the FFA Leadership Development projects. It was actually pretty cool. It happens up at the high school every year, and I got to listen to a lot of people recite that creed over and over and over again, and then ask them the same question. And I am just really impressed by some of our youth. It's a great thing to be involved in more than just video games, I mean, go FFA. And the other thing was I attended, and I believe that Brandy did also remotely, we attended the Monroe Community Coalition, I don't know, it was like a week ago or something. They talked about the Kratom, Kratom, and the 7-OH, and possible influences that could have in our community, and kind of what can we do to prepare for people to abuse one more substance in one more way. And so it was a very interesting conversation, very educational, and a lot of people in our community who were just there because don't want to see more people get hurt. So I learned a lot. If you have any questions, I know where to direct you, and that is all.
Thank you. Councilmember Gamble?
Yeah, so I, along with the Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Fisher, we actually worked last week. You guys took Tuesday off. We had Finance Committee meeting, started the process for, looking long-term at the 2027, 2028 budget, and just down that process. So many more installments to come, Julie promises us. So that was last week. And then for those that may be interested in live music on Saturday, there's a Monroe High grad that's coming back to perform in Kirkland at the Lime on Saturday. So there you go.
Benson Boone?
Nope, better. What's that? It's my daughter. Yes, the one that actually discovered Benson Boone, for the record. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The Lime, Kirkland, Saturday.
Lime at Kirkland, Saturday, 9:30, something like that.
Awesome.
There you go. Mr. Bedtime, I know, it's getting old. Oh, and it sounded like to me that computer system was just hitting its prime that the judge was talking about. I don't think he said 47 or something like that. So we should probably take a look at that. That's probably just fine.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo Councilmember Hanford's point earlier about gratitude for emergency services, both police and fire. I know there was also a fire up on Chain Lake where a person sustained really serious injuries, and it just made me think about how lucky we are to have a fire department that's able to get to those scenes so quickly, so consistently. It's a gift to have you guys in our community. And then with regard to our police department, to have found the suspect in that murder case within hours, I believe, and also to hear that the flock cameras may have helped when the suspect was leaving town. Just thought it was a great example of the abilities and skill of our police department. So the last thing I wanted to say is it seems like graffiti is becoming a bigger problem in the area, and there's been a few spots in town that have been tagged. So if there's any interest in the council, I'd love if we could explore some item in the future. If there's some kind of ordinances or policies that could be enacted to do something like requiring ID or locking up spray paint or I don't know. If that's something that anyone else would be interested in, I'd love if staff would look into that. Yeah, that's all I have. Administrator Knight? I don't know if you'd like to give a report or not.
Don't actually wait until until the administrator's report.
Get your own section.
The early opportunity.
Yeah. All right. There are no oral reports tonight, reports from police, and actually, next item is staff reports. The first report is the Finance Department. Ms. Elson.
Good evening, Council and Mayor Pro Tem. Your monthly financial report through February is in your packet, and I'll give you a quick summary. Overall, major revenues are tracking close to budget, but I'm also seeing several key areas that are still underperforming, and those are primarily related to the development-related revenues, which we've kind of brought up several times over the last year, and still closely monitoring those. Those are your building permit fees, your plan check fee revenues, water and sewer capital fees. And in addition to that, sales tax is over budget for January and February, but down from last year, which could be concerning. So also closely monitoring that, as well as opioid settlement fees are not coming in as budget, and field usage fees are a little bit down from prior years. So closely monitoring all of those, but expenditures are still tracking as expected and aligned with budget. So really just monitoring, and we'll return in the upcoming months with additional information. So, questions?
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Elson. The next report is for the Public Works Department. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Councilmember Walker. As you can tell, I, like Councilmember Gamble, am hitting my prime. In any case, in the report tonight, there's a cleanup event on May 9th. It is the annual Republic Spring Cleanup, so just kind of getting that news out there early. It'll be held at the Speedway, as it has been the past several years. I think it's a wonderful system, and it's a great community event, so passing that on. A little bit of news from our operations and maintenance team. Colin Painter from our field crew got his CDL, so adding another driver of the big rigs. With that, the 147th signal is now online, as you may have noticed driving through. I apologize for any delays, but there again, hey, it makes crossing the street a lot better experience for our pedestrians, so there we go. And then last but not least, the some 3,600-ish catch basins. That doesn't include all the other stuff, folks. We got ponds, we got filters, we got coalescing plates, we got all kinds of things out there, are now underway being inspected and cleaned, and that program will take several months for our field crews to do, so you may see them out there They move pretty quick, but anyway, so that concludes my report. Councilmember Walker, back to you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Roberts? Councilmember Beaumont?
Thank you. I hate to be so chatty tonight, but I did want to pass something along, Director Roberts, for you to pass along to your team. Weather's getting nicer, and a lot of people are out and about walking, biking, and so many times just in the last couple of weeks, I have noticed the lighted crosswalks in use and safely getting people across, and they're working great. And I think about, 2-3 years ago, we didn't have those, and I just love the safety focus and that people are able to be out and safely move from one place to another. And that's all, the work of Public Works, getting out there and installing those, doing a good job with them. And it just makes me really happy to see people traveling, more pedestrian activity. So please pass along to your team that it's working great and it's appreciated.
I will do that, and just for your heads up, the overlay of North Kelsey, I believe, will include another one of those near Galaxy Way.
That's
coming up,
fantastic.
and then we're putting in grants for more.
Yeah, not to quote Field of Dreams, but if you build it, they will come. I mean, people seem to be just coming out, and sorry, but it's just great to see, so thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. I have one question for you. If some peer pressure were to be applied to my fellow council members, what is the process like for signing up for the Adopt a Drain program that Miss April Hardy has done a great job rolling out in the city?
Yeah, what's the process like? I'm sorry, I don't know if I heard you correct.
Yes, is it just like going online and signing up and then you get a drain?
Yeah, it's actually quite simple, and it's all on our website, so I'm not sure if you've been there or not, but if you have, it's pretty straight ahead. I'd encourage the council members or any of the younger folks that they come in contact with that may live in a home, if you'd encourage it and kind of build that relationship with the real world out there, that's important in today's age. And so it's a very simple process, and you can take a little bit of ownership of some of the city's infrastructure, which is cool.
Awesome. Thank you. I'd recommend it to anyone. You get to name your drain. So, all right. That concludes staff and department reports. The next item on the agenda is the extended agenda. Ms. Knight.
Thank you. On behalf of myself and perhaps some others in the room, I would argue that 60 is the new 40. All right. Looking forward to the extended agenda. For Tuesday the 31st, just a reminder to council that we have a special joint meeting with the City Council and the Planning Commission. The Department of Commerce will be coming and providing the short course in local planning. And this is open to members of the public and our other boards and commissions. And so if there are community members that you think would be interested in attending and learning more about how land use planning works, this is a great opportunity to bring more people into City Hall and learn more about land use planning. The meeting on April 7th, we don't currently have anything planned for that meeting, so it is a welcome night off. Next slide. There we go. So already save the date, short course on local planning next Tuesday. And then the mayor's State of the City address has been scheduled. It's at the Chamber Luncheon, Tuesday, April 14th at 11:30 a.m. If you're interested in registering for that and for the lunch, you can contact Liam McCorkle, and he will get you registered. And that's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Awesome. Council, are there any questions? All right. Moving on to the Mayor Pro Tem's report, I would just say Mayor Cutterback is doing a great job, and we look forward to her return next week. There is no need for an executive session this evening, but there is a need for a closed session. After the meeting is adjourned, the City Council will convene a closed session for the purpose of discussing collective bargaining pursuant to RCW 42.30.1404B. Unlike an executive session, closed sessions do not require notice. To be transparent, the city had advertised the closed session on the agenda. There are no requirements for notices of extensions, and the council will not be taking action after the closed session. There being no further business and no objection, the meeting will be adjourned. Thank you guys for your patience with me tonight. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.